So, there was a recent Twitter thread on X, the everything app. I don't know if you've heard of it, but they have everything. Anyway, there was a Twitter thread between two really good Melee players, Radar and Dawson. And I rarely get involved in Twitter threads, but I had some ideas that I wanted to express, and I tried and I failed. And Twitter's a hard platform. So at the end, what I decided was it interested me enough to make a video about it. So what's the thread about? Essentially, it boiled down to an age-old Melee debate. Dawson, someone who is really good at Melee, said that they are bad at Melee. And Radar responded by saying, "That's pretentious. You're really good at Melee. How do you think that makes everyone who is worse than you feel?" And then Dawson said, "I didn't mean it like that," and blah, 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 blah. This is an age-old Melee debate, and I have the answer for why people have been having this conversation for the past 15 years. Simply put, they're not talking about the same thing. Radar is talking about player distribution. Dawson is talking about skill distribution. Let me explain. According to an old Fizzy tweet, which he did not give us all of the data, but it can give us a really close idea. If you are a Platinum 2 or better Melee player, you are top 10% of all ranked players. And that's a huge accomplishment. Let's pick someone to celebrate. Hey, Nebulous Plat 2 player, congratulations. You're a top 10% player. Now let's take a Grandmaster player. Me, for example. Congratulations, me. I'm a top 1% Melee player in the whole world, if not better. In fact, I was the 161st best Melee player. Wow, incredible. Let's add me to this chart. Now, before I talk about it, I want to add one more data point onto this graph. Let's go check out the ranked ladder. Let's take Hungrybox. He's third on the ranked ladder right now, and let's add him to this graph. Well, now look at that. What a beautiful, helpful graph. Let's draw some conclusions based on this graph. Well, it looks like Nebulous Platinum 2 player has some work to do. They're definitely getting good, but they still have a ways to go before they can reach my level. And hey, look at that. I'm really close to being as good as Hungrybox. I mean, we're both top 1% players. If I put in just a little more work, I'll probably be as good as him very soon. Except, we know that's not true. Or at least I hope all of us do. The reason that players like me and Dawson, who is better than me, by the way, I don't want to group us together, but the reason why Grandmaster players like me and Dawson have trouble saying, "I am good at Melee," is because deep down, we know that this is what the skill distribution actually looks like. And wait, don't get mad at me. I know skill is an arbitrary concept, so let me give y'all a loose working definition right now. I think with the right practice methods and habits, skill can easily be broken down into a 1-to-1 ratio with hours you put into practice. I know this is hard to hear, and you might be saying, "But Adust, I practice way more than Mango, and I'm not even PR." I don't know why you're Mickey Mouse, but that's what you sound like to me. And no, number one, you don't play more than Mango, and number two, even if that's true, you need to examine your practice methods. So back to the original point. This is the skill distribution. And yeah, it's hard to use exact numbers, but I guarantee you there is a larger gap between me and Hungrybox than there is between me and your average Platinum 2 Melee player. And yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow, and it's not something that players like me should go around saying out loud all the time. Who does that really help? And honestly, maybe it does only serve to make players than me feel worse, but I want to express that it doesn't come from a pretentious place, and it isn't to make players who are worse than me feel bad. I won't attempt to speak for him, but what I think players like me and Dawson are trying to do is the classic stay humble. Sure, I have differentiated myself from the majority of players with the time and focus and effort to improve my game, but I don't get it confused for 1 second. I'm not an amazing player, and this is the important part, compared to the player that I want to be. And that's the major sticking point. Melee has an infinite skill ceiling, so even after you've climbed 10,000 feet, you pause for a second and you think, man, infinity's really high. But then right after that, you think, man, I can imagine myself on top of infinity. And sure, that denies the laws of mathematics, but you want to imagine that the future version of yourself will look back at the player that you are today and think, man, that guy is terrible at Melee. Or at least I think that's what a lot of us who hope that we can improve want to think. It's really all any of us who strive for greatness can ever hope for. And I wanted to communicate that because I think it's something that a lot of players around my skill level frequently struggle communicating and end up sounding like asshats because we're talking down our own what is genuinely higher level of skill. But anyway, thanks for watching. This one was more of a pulpit video. I felt like I was preaching to you. Let me know if you liked it. And there wasn't a lot of analysis here. Sorry if it was really boring. But anyway, you know, sub, Patreon, all that stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. And thanks again to my patrons, Manufactured Goods, Cypher, and Mason. Y'all's support makes this so much easier to do.